Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
Heard tonight on News Hour. Fear grips Niger community as abductors of farmers threaten to kill captives. President Tinubu directs Economic Council to work on subsidy palliatives meets major oil marketers. Nigerians seek palliatives to ease suffering as subsidy removal takes toll on commuters and business owners. And on the foreign scene, at least 21 people killed in suspected terrorist attacks in Burkina Faso. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. We begin with security, where bandits have threatened to kill the remaining abducted farmers from Kafinkoro, Kwagana, and adjoining communities in Paikoro local government area of Niger State if ransom is not paid. Two of the victims were released to inform the relations of the rest of the abductees of their decision to kill them if ransom is not paid. The coordinator, Justice, Development and Peace Commission, Catholic Diocese of Minna, Reverend Father Bahago Dauda Musa, who has been in touch with the affected communities since the incident, told Trust TV that the victims, including women, are being tortured by the bandits. In a 16-minute video released by the bandits, after 4 of the victims were released, one of the bandits in military camouflage shot 2 men on the foot while the remaining victims screamed. Okay, right about now, we have a Daily Trust reporter in Niger State on phone call to give us an update of what is happening at about now as regards the abduction of the farmers. His name is Abubakar Akoti. Hello, Abubakar. Thank you so much for joining us on News Hour.
Good evening.
All right, so can you give us an update of, what is the security situation and, what is going on right now at the moment?
This evening, I've just been informed that 4 women have been released this evening after the payment of ransom. Bandits are demanding for 800,000 naira per a victim. And there are more than 20 of them that are still in captivity. They are also demanding for a motorcycle, which community said it will cost them between 700,000 and 600,000 naira now to purchase. But they are looking for ways to see that they meet up with the threat coming from this the bandits. This evening, 4 women came back after the payment of ransom community effort, and they are continuing with contribution to see that the remaining people come back safely.
Okay, so Abubakar, what are the communities saying about, the latest threat to kill the captives? Are they ready to, contribute money to pay for their release?
Yes, they said they are doing that already. I've just said that of the 4 victims this evening, 4 women were released after ransom was paid for the 4 of them. They are demanding for 800,000 naira per each victim. And then the amount the contributor have been given to them, and then they released 4 women this evening, and they are looking forward to see how they will raise the money to secure the release of remaining people.
Okay, so can you tell us the actual number of captives, with the kidnappers? Because from the video, from the looks of the number of captives in the videos, it looks like it's more than the numbers reported.
Yes, the number that are in their hands now and the captivity now are more than 20. When they were kidnapped around January, March this year, they were close to more than 50. But as community continue to pay ransom, they release them batch by batch. So, and along the line, community couldn't to pay the remaining balance. That's why this threat is coming this moment. But the community have also this evening they told me that they have resumed the contribution, the normal efforts they have been making to see that their people are released safely.
Okay, so what about security forces in the state? What are they doing to, help rescue these captives?
The last time I spoke with the police, they said they were making effort to rescue them. But with this latest video and the latest threats coming from the bandit, police have not responded to my inquiries to know how far they have gone, what they are doing on the ground to see that these people are rescued without even payment of ransom. I tried to reach out to police, public relations officer in the state. He didn't respond. He didn't respond to my messages sent to you.
All right. Well, we sincerely hope that the captives are freed very soon so they can return to their normal lives. So thank you so much, Abubakar Akoti from Niger State, for the phone call and also the update on the issue. All right, moving on. Armed men have abducted a 7-year-old girl in a Yongoji village, Kwali Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. Suleiman Musa, a resident of the village, told the news agency of Nigeria that the hoodlums invaded the community in the early hours of Wednesday. He said the hoodlums invaded the village firing several gunshots before breaking into some houses where they abducted the 7-year-old girl. According to him, the quick intervention of a police team forced the gunmen to take to their heels from the village. A resident said it was the swift response of police personnel, hunters and vigilance members led by the Kwali Divisional Police officers that saved the community from further harm from the gunmen. Now, he said the hoodlums engaged the security team in a gun battle before escaping with the abducted girl. Security men are currently combing the area with a view to rescuing the girl and arresting the gunmen. Moving on, Senator George Akume has taken up his duties as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. This follows the swearing-in of the former Benue State Governor by President Bola Tinubu at about 11:16 a.m. on Wednesday at the Council Chambers of State House, Abuja. The new SGF described his appointment as an honor and promised to do his best to make Nigerians proud. Kende Amudu reports.
Dignitaries, including serving and former governors, are attending this ceremony as Senator Akume takes his oath of allegiance and oath of office. Senator Akume has served as former governor of Benue State and former minority leader in the House of Representatives. But despite his years serving in key positions, he still sees this appointment as Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, as a big honor, and he is promising that he will not let Nigerians down.
To have been selected to serve in this exalted position, out of over 200 million Nigerians, is a challenge to serve in line with the oath I have taken today, a few minutes ago. I assure Nigerians I will do my best. I will not disappoint the president. I will not disappoint this country. I will not disappoint my party. I believe Nigerians will find fulfillment in my responsibilities as I discharge them in their own interest.
Apparently, it is a big deal to its citizens that Benue State has been singled out to produce the SGF.
It's a factor of exaltation. Out of the many states, Benue is chosen, and it's one of our sons, whom we're all proud of. We know his requisite. We know what he has offered in the past many decades for the state and for the nation. We're very confident, too confident, that he's also going to deliver, and the nation is going to be proud that our choicest man from the state is selected and sworn in for this great job.
My husband is a very hard working man, very humble, kind, compassionate. He relates with people very well. And I know this time too, he will do the best.
Senator Akume is the 21st person to serve as SGF since the office was set up in 1961, 62 years ago. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Fintiri has appointed Awal Tukur as the secretary to the state government. Awal is a former member of House of Representatives and served as the Adamawa State Director General, PDP Presidential and Governorship Campaign Council in the 2023 elections. Governor Fintiri has also approved the appointment of Dr. Edgar Amos as Chief of Staff, Government House. Following the appointment of Dr. Amos, who before now was the head of service, Shehu Isa Ardo takes over as head of the civil service. A press statement by Humwashi Wanosiku, his chief press secretary to the governor, said the appointment takes immediate effect. President Bola Tinubu has called on the governors to collaborate with the federal government to tackle the menace of poverty in the country. Tinubu made the call when he hosted members of the Nigerian Governors Forum at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Wednesday. He told the governors that the level of poverty and impoverishment is unacceptable, advising them to downplay political differences and focus on alleviating the sufferings and pains of the people. The president said he was prepared to share ideas, strengthen institutions, and create bottom-up frameworks that will improve the livelihood of Nigerians. The governors who took turns to speak expressed happiness with the president's subsidy removal decision, all-inclusive leadership, and statesmanship. The governors made suggestions highlighting the plight of citizens in their states, assuring the president of their support in preferring solutions through the National Economic Council. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday met with major oil marketers at Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. The major oil marketers were led by Ogun State Governor Dakwa Abiodun to the State House in Abuja. President Tinubu directed the National Economic Council, led by Vice President Kashim Shettima, to begin the process of providing palliatives to mitigate the effects of fuel subsidy removal. The oil marketers announced their intention to donate 50 to 150-seater mass transit buses that would run on compressed natural gas, costing 100 million naira each and 10 billion naira cumulatively, to cushion the effect of the removal within the next 30 days. The chairman, DAPMAN, and Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Northwest Petroleum Oil and Gas Company Limited, Winifred Akbani, briefs State House correspondents after the meeting.
But that's not to say that because others are benefiting, they're benefiting wrongly. Nigeria cannot be subsidizing the whole of Africa when we have a lot of our own problems. So we came today to express our support and to see how we can cooperate with government, because ultimately you can't kill the people you are trying to save. So we're not going to sit back and say, hey, yes, you have removed subsidies, so it's fine.
There's really no need for questions because it's a courtesy call and it's so straightforward, and they have pledged their cooperation with the government on this policy and its implementation. And there are quite a number of initiatives that they have reeled out to the president in terms of support. So the major item is that they are part of the organized private sector. This is the major oil marketers. They are supporting the deregulation, the full deregulation of the oil sector. And they have pledged their support in implementation of the intervention. You know, the intervention where we don't want to call these things palliatives, but it's intervention. So both the government intervention and their own interventions complementing each other will seriously uplift the masses from whatever envisaged negative impact of that policy. It will act as a cushion.
Fuel subsidy removal is taking its toll on commuters and business owners as many Nigerians express divergent opinions on the removal by the Bola Tinubu administration. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal speaks to Abuja residents on how they are coping with the rise in price of basic necessities. The report.
The subsidy removal was announced by President Bola Tinubu during his inaugural speech on Monday, May 29th, and almost immediately 4 queues sprang up in the nation's capital, Lagos, and other places. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited followed this up 250%, pump price increase 48 hours later.
Prices of products and services have more than tripled, and the average Nigerians are finding it difficult to live.
Business owners called on the relevant authorities to provide palliatives that will cushion its ripple effect.
The
subsidy has made us to have low patronage, which is affecting our businesses badly. If the removal of the subsidy will cushion the effect of our sufferness, it will go a long way to make us smile, and prices of things will reduce for the betterment of the masses.
Then I also try my possible best also to reduce my cost of operation. Before we do run on gen, but due to the increase in fuel prices, and if we run on gen, to go back to the customers, the high cost. So decide to just stop running on gen and run on electricity strictly.
I used to make more sales before the pronouncement of the removal of subsidy. Now, the market is a ghost of itself, thereby making it difficult for me to put food on the table for my family. We are appealing to government to do the needful to make our market robust and more efficient the way it used to be. Public analysts are, however, optimistic about the government's action, saying the subsidy removal will make more resources available to the government.
There will be every need for you to also review the wages, salaries of the workers. So for a start, I've had to cut down the number of working days in my office from 5 working days to 3 working days. Now that is like an immediate measure to reduce the suffering on the part of my staff.
Residents in Abuja called on the government to do the needful to cushion the effect on the masses. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Nigerians have continued to lament over removal of fuel subsidy and its implication on the economy. Some artisans and other small-scale business owners in Jos, the Plateau State capital, are crying over loss of businesses following a pump price hike by the federal government. Ado Musa completes the report.
Artisans in Jos, particularly those using fuel in their daily businesses, are decrying the increase of fuel price, saying that the development has negatively affected their businesses. The artisans say, although the decision to remove the subsidy is a welcome idea, but government should have planned some palliatives that will help the common man before arriving at that decision. You can see it yourself. Things have not been easy for us. Fuel is very expensive now. We are just managing our lives. We used to collect 100 naira to get your tire, but now it is 200 naira. People should know that the fuel is costly, but they keep complaining. People will not understand.
The problem, after they have removed the subsidy, is really affecting my business, because now sales is no more like before. Business is down for me. Before I used to buy fuel per liter at 140, 150, but now fuel is reaching 550, 600 for me now. And the paper that I use, I buy it at 600 and it became 2,400. Now I'm buying paper at 5,000 naira. Now, if I try to say I should do the margin and do the calculation to increase the rate of the service that I do, people won't be patronizing my shop that much.
Shehu Nyalu, Northeast and North Central Chairman of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, also says subsidy removal is already affecting businesses as people are not buying goods like before.
We don't have an issue removing the fuel subsidy. Of course, there will be an immediate impact, negative impact. Negative in the sense that things are going to go up. Money is not at hand. People don't have liquidity. As manufacturers, we are there to manufacture, to send to the public, to sell. But whereby you manufacture, it goes to the market and people don't buy. You are left with inventory.
The chairman, however, advised the federal government to look at some alternatives to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal.
Federal government should look at other alternatives of cushioning the effect of this subsidy. Maybe you provide alternative, like in the past, government used to buy these luxurious buses, put it on the road. That will reduce and then give it to the public at a very minimal transportation cost. So government should also focus on revitalizing the rail system.
Many Nigerians are crying over the removal of the fuel subsidy, even as the government said it is looking at some alternatives that will help to reduce the suffering. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Ogun State government has set up a committee to work out modalities on various forms of interventions to cushion the effects of petroleum subsidy removal by the federal government. Now, at a meeting with the leadership of the organized labor unions in the state at the governor's office in Abeokuta, the state capital, Governor Dakwa Abiodun said this has become imperative in view of the multiplier effect of the subsidy on incomes of the state's workforce. The governor said the proposed palliatives is to reduce and not to totally erase the burdens of the removal, commending the bold decision of the Bola Tinubu administration.
Was a player in that industry before. I have been very concerned about the multiplier effect of this and how this affects the well-being and the wherewithal of our workers to come to work, to go back to work, and to continue to afford their responsibilities and also their well-being.
Just met with His Excellency Prince Dr. Dakwa Abiodun MFR, CON, and on his invitation to see to how he's going to cushion the effect of all the civil servants in Ogun State and those people in the informal sector, in ensuring that some palliative is measured out to them before the signal from the federal government, because we learned that the federal government is having similar program for the entire citizen. So the meeting has been cracked into committee, and he has given us a mandate of reporting back on Thursday when we are going to make it public to the entire citizen of our state.
The All Progressives Congress and the Independent National Electoral Commission have opposed testimonies of a witness brought by the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar before the Election Petition Tribunal. One of the witnesses called to testify was an INEC ad hoc staff during the election, but respondents in the petition objected to him giving evidence. Noel Sampson has the report.
The party expressed shock over the objection of testimonies of witness it brought to court by INEC and APC. Counsel for the party, Chris Uche, told the court that witnesses were subpoenaed to appear in evidence, expressing his displeasure over INEC conduct which has failed to provide its legal team with the required documents after paying the necessary fees.
It's quite surprising that the documents INEC has been objecting to these past days that we have been tendering documents are all certified true copies of INEC's documents. These are documents we applied for to INEC, and by law, INEC is authorized to release these documents to us after certification. And INEC received money from us, and we have the receipt for even a particular batch that we paid 6.69 million naira for documents.
Counsel to Labour Party Paul Ananaba also gives clarifications on some documents presented.
It is obvious that we have so much to present, and the court has been magnanimous, and our colleagues have worked with us. So we have made the presentations, and we have so much more to present, even as our days keep moving. Part of the contentions is 36 states and the FCT. So EC8D is the result of the 36 states and FCT, and EC8DA is the national result. It will be clearer when we begin to address the court on those two forms.
The chairman of the court, Justice Haruna Tamani, adjourned proceedings until Thursday to allow respondents study the witnesses' statement for seamless cross-examination. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Noel, for that report. The 9th House of Representatives on Wednesday rounded off activities with Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila commending members for a job well done. Former speakers Galina Abba and Patricia Ete also attended the valedictory session of the House. Gbajabiamila listed some of the achievements to include passage of the PIA, Electoral Act, Police Act, the January to December budget cycle, among others. He used the opportunity to task the incoming 10th House that will be inaugurated on Tuesday next week to ensure they pass women-related bills. Other lawmakers used the occasion to list the number of bills passed and lauded activities done so far.
Everything, there's a time and a season. And we are obliged and obligated each season to do the most and the best we can in the time we have. This is a good rule for politics and for life itself. The 9th House of Representatives is ending, and the 10th will shortly be convened. All of us, those whose time in office is ending, and those for whom duty continues, will face the judgment of history. I urge you to keep this in mind and let your actions be guided by the desire to ensure that you are not found wanting by man or God in the final judgment.
The 9th Assembly is the most productive. It is the most productive of all the assembly in the history of National Assembly. And here are the statistics. The 9th Assembly processed 2,232 bills. Out of these, 52 are executive bills. 163 are bills from the Senate. And 2,017 are members' bills.
Of course, I want to appreciate my political leaders, among whom I would say is Solomon Lara, who, when I was contesting in 2007, I went to him, and he prophesied the number of times I will come to this assembly. And I will tell this crowd and to the world that he said, I will come to this assembly in the number of times and prophesies even the number of leadership I will attain and the deputy speakership, and he prophesies next when I return I will be speaker, and I will believe inshallah I will be speaker of the chambers.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. We take a look at tips to avert gas cylinder explosions. Stay with us.
Hello, Abuja residents. Did you know that the FCT administration, in collaboration with security agencies, has put adequate measures in place for round-the-clock surveillance around the territory to safeguard the lives and property of all residents? Yes, FCTA has also taken steps to checkmate the activities of criminals in and around the territory. Security agencies have adopted proactive measures to fish out criminals and other individuals plotting to truncate the peace and tranquility of the FCT. Did you know also that you can support these efforts by giving accurate and timely information to the security agencies that will assist in nipping any form of criminality in the bud? Yes, part of your support to keep the FCT safe and secure is to stop sharing social media posts, videos, or comments that are either totally fake news or have the potential to misinform and mislead the public and therefore have negative implication on the security and well-being of the FCT and the residents. Remember, security is everybody's business. Be security conscious. Play your own part by helping to keep the FCT safe. This message is from the Federal Capital Territory Administration.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. We told you that fear grips Niger community as abductors of farmers threaten to kill captives. We also told you that President Tinubu directs Economic Council to work on subsidy palliatives meets oil major marketers. Moving to other stories, the faction of Daniel Ogazi-led Nasarawa State House of Assembly has held its plenary and announced suspension of Ibrahim Balarabe Abdullahi-led assembly members indefinitely. The suspension of the 10-member Balarabe group, which was held on Wednesday, followed a motion of public importance moved by the member representing Obi 2 constituency, Luka Ilya Zekaba, and seconded by Ibrahim Aliyu Nana, Kefi West constituency. The crisis that trailed the inauguration of Nasarawa State House of Assembly has led to the emergence of two speakers at parallel plenary sittings on Tuesday. Abel Yakubu Bala, member representing Nasarawa Egon constituency, then moved the motion for the adjournment, thereby bringing the proceeding to an end. Speaking to journalists after the sit-in, Ogazi said the action of the 10 members is coming from a proclamation by Governor Abdullahi Sule that the inauguration of members and all other proceedings that takes place in the hollow chamber of the Assembly was illegal, null and void.
The proclamation of His Excellency the Governor of Nasarawa State is to the effect that the inauguration shall take place in the Nasarawa State House of Assembly premises. Where these 10 members went to conducted this inauguration is not the State Assembly. And for the members to also lie to the public, they deceive the public that there is security threat. The number of security men that are here since yesterday to protect these premises are enough for anybody that has any kind of threat not to come close. We are here, we are protected. even though from beginning we were prevented from getting entry by the directive of the executive, but later we were allowed to go in seamlessly without anything, and we conducted our business in the house without any trouble.
Taraba State House of Assembly, through a matter of urgent public importance, has called on the federal and state executives to declare state of emergency on security in the state over the recent senseless killings and destruction of properties. In a motion moved on Wednesday by some members of the House, urged the government to urgently arrest the security situations in the various constituencies. The joint motion, which was read by Tanko of Takum 1, stated that unknown gunmen have rained attacks on several villages, communities in parts of southern Taraba, as well as in Karim Lamido local government area of the state. In the motion, the members further noted that the sporadic and unprovoked attacks in their constituencies have led to wanton destruction of lives and properties, including farmlands and other means of livelihood of the people in the constituencies. The members also noted that the crisis, which has persisted in snowballing into banditry and also fast spreading to some neighboring communities in Donga and Kurmi local government areas, respectively, thereby jeopardizing the stability of farming activities. The members in the motion advised that if the banditry activities are not brought to an end quickly, it will lead to a humanitarian crisis with all the attendant consequences. I beg your pardon. Police in Abia State says a team of security agents have rescued a Chinese national abducted in the state recently. The command's public relations officer, Assistant Superintendent of Police Maureen Chinaka, confirmed the release on Wednesday. She said that the Chinese national, Li Peiying, abducted on May 31st, was rescued by a joint security team on Monday. Peiying, who was the site manager of a quarry in Lokbanta, Umwanecho local government area, was driving in a Caterpillar without security escort when he was abducted. Chinaka said the joint security team had sustained a manhunt for the abductors. The Rivers State Police Command says it has arrested suspected cultists, car snatchers, jail escapees within the last 5 days. Commissioner of Police in the state, Nwoyi Emeka, while briefing journalists in Port Harcourt, said that the command will not relent in the fight against crime and criminality. He called on parents to monitor their children and wards so they do not succumb to societal pressure to commit crime, commending the efforts of men and officers of the command for ensuring that crime and criminality is reduced to the barest minimum.
Arrest of 2 suspects cultists, recovery of 2 arms, 1 machete, kitchen knives and charms. 2, arrest of jail escapees. On 2nd of June 2023, operative of the command arrested 1 Peter Ogudo, age 32, a native of Awara, Ohaji Egbema local government of Imo State, in his hideout at Nkpo, Rumolumini, Port Harcourt, for the murder of 2 persons in his community. The suspect has been on a watch list of the police since he escaped from the lawful custody during the jailbreak that occurred in Owerri Correction Center in April 2001. Since my assumption of office as the 44th Commissioner of Police in the state, I have vowed to read out all forms of criminality activities and to make the habitable of those genuine business.
Gas cylinder explosions has in recent time been a source of security concern to many Nigerians. When it occurs, it creates panic and suspicion that an improvised explosive device may have been planted by suspected terrorists. Abdurrahman Umar speaks with critical stakeholders on tips that can be used to avert gas cylinder explosions in the country. The report.
Gas cylinders over 4 million of them exist in homes across Nigeria. The government estimates that over 1.8 million of them may have exceeded their lifespan, but are still being used daily, raising the risk of explosions with possible loss of life and property. Gas cylinders explosion may be restricted to the business premises of retailers, but due to the increased usage across households in the country, incidents of domestic gas accidents do occur. The question many are asking is why Nigerians are not adhering to safety procedures in the use of gas. Could it be because gas cylinders being used in our homes are substandard or expired? Taso Ogunwem is the Director of Product Certification of the Standard Organization of Nigeria (SON), and he attested to the fact that some gas cylinders imported into the country have passed their lifespan.
If you are buying a cylinder, look at the bottom of it, the date is coded on it. So if you calculate and it's more than 15 years, start getting worried. If it is more than 30 years, it's even the worst. That is, if you see it up to 30 years, it has been revalidated and is becoming weaker. So if you are buying a cylinder, lift it up, look at the bottom, it's coded there.
Amunusan is a gas cylinder retailer for many years. He shares with us ways one can tell if a cylinder is actually substandard. Anytime you cook, make sure you are cleaning the gas cylinder. When you go for gas refill, make sure they are checking it out for leaking. Also, sometimes you might notice a rust from the bottom of the gas cylinder due to water, which might cause the leakage. It is important to always notice such things before using the gas cylinder, or after you finish using the gas cylinder. It's important to watch out from the bottom for the rust and for the leakage. Public Relations Officer of the FCT Fire Service, Ibrahim Mohammed Tawhid, says penalties exist for anyone not adhering to the rules and regulations set out for gas cylinder usage.
Most of their wrongdoings had to do with when they are not following the safety rules or safety guides being given to them. So we do, and we have a unit that is saddled with that responsibility. We call it Fire Enforcement Code Units. So that one, when they enforce that these are the rules, they will go there and enforce the rules and seal them off if they are found wanting.
Domestic consumption of cooking gas is now common, and caution is more than required in how it is handled at home. Abdurrahman Omar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Domestic gas users have a cause to smile as price of cooking gas is beginning to crash. Prices are recording substantial reduction from the beginning of June in most locations in the country. Zainab Garai speaks to customers on how they feel about the development. The report.
The importance of cooking gas to every household is well known. It is essentially what most families depend on for domestic uses. Until recently, the price of cooking gas has been going outreach. It, however, began to crash this month, with many Nigerians happy about the reduction. Some Abuja residents said the price reduction came at the time people need it, adding that it will go a long way in making life easy for ordinary Nigerian.
At least I can afford my own kg that I want to buy than buying fuel. At least it's okay.
Just as we are about feeling the heat of the PMS, Premium Motor Spirit, this particular LPG came down. So we hope all of this product will, moving forward with the assurances we are getting from government, all of this product comes down.
Domestic gas sellers explain that they buy at a relatively lower price and therefore nothing will stop them from selling it to people at lower price.
Mostly, LPG prices used to determine with the price of AGO, because most of LPG trucks, they were using AGO for their transport, that is diesel. So the price of AGO started coming down for over 6 months ago. So since that time, when this AGO prices started coming down, then LPG prices start coming down. But with this recent days, we have seen a massive decrease in these LPG prices. Together with this AGO, as I told you before, it determines with the AGO prices.
Before now, 12.5 kilogram is sold at over 10,000 naira, but now is sold as low as 8,000 naira. Zainab Garaye, Trust TV News, Abuja.
It has been estimated that 5 trillion pieces of plastic waste are laying on over 360 million square kilometers land and ocean globally, with Africa constituting the highest burden of plastic pollution. This was disclosed by an environmental expert of the Department of Environmental Management Technology of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi. Adamu Imam reports.
With the theme, Solution to Plastic Pollution, environmental experts say the amount of effect of plastic materials are causing havoc on the natural environment, leading to long-term devastation on plants, animals, and humans. They said currently both individual and corporate bodies are depositing large amounts of unnatural materials into the environment, particularly agricultural soil, without understanding the negative effect of such action.
Public. And this plastic create a lot of problem to the environment, more especially to the soil. Our communities are agrarian in nature, so it has effect on the soil. It also has effect. It's one of the causes of flooding, because the plastic waste that have been discarded normally block the drainages, and when it rains heavily, it now causes flooding. It also have a hazardous effect with regard to the air.
With that, we can be able to fight poverty with that. Because if we can now take at least 50% of the plastic thrown into the public, into the environment, then we can be able to generate not less than like $2.5 trillion US. Then with that can be reinjected, can be unleashed and be reinjected into the economy. And that will now create a lot of values. So that is why, yes, we can be able to use, because that is what some people are now even saying. You can turn problem into an opportunity. So plastic, yes, is a problem, but at the same time, we can now utilize it and fight poverty. Because once we attach value to it, then people will go into it.
In the same vein, students embark on awareness creation on the importance of waste to wealth.
The theme of this year is well chosen because of the impact, the negative impact plastic waste has been playing in our environment, the negative impact. So the rate at which we are generating plastic waste is becoming unbecoming, and we need to reverse it. So if not, the planet Earth might go into extinction.
You see plastics, papers, just as you see in our school, we pack everything, we pack them, put them inside trash. Some sell them and some burn them there. So I would like to advise my parents, my sisters, my colleagues, and everybody that we should try and adapt to this thing so that we'll be packing everything in our environment.
According to Adewale, the idea to celebrate the day is by encouraging the younger generation to global sanitation as well as development of schools' environment and their communities. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching News on Trust TV. We'll be right back.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
Treated a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The Nigerian government recently revealed that Nigeria recorded a total foreign trade of 12.05 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2023, representing a 17.5% decrease compared to 14.6 trillion naira recorded in Q1 of 2022. According to the report, Nigeria exported 279.639 billion naira worth of agricultural goods exports, which made up 4.31% of total exports. On the import side, Nigeria imported 471.391 billion naira worth of agricultural goods, making up 8.48% of total imports. On export locations, Asia was the largest importer of Nigeria's agricultural goods, importing 172.9 billion naira worth of goods, followed by Europe at 85 billion naira. Africa imported only 7.6 billion naira worth of Nigerians' agricultural goods. Active subscriptions for mobile services in Nigeria declined by 1% to 223.3 million in April 2023. This was revealed in the latest industry statistics released by the Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC). As of March, active subscriptions across the networks of MTN, Glo, Airtel and Nine Mobile stood at 225.8 million. This showed that the operators lost about 2.5 million subscriptions in April. The April figure also came as the second consecutive month of loss for the mobile operators, having recorded a 0.4% decline in subscriptions for March. An analysis of the operators' data showed that the decline in the subscription data was caused by a 2.8 million subscription loss recorded by MTN. The reduction in the telco's active subscriptions is attributable to the abandonment of SIMs that have now been linked with the National Identification Number (NIN) as mandated by the government. And finally, a Turkish lira sank to a new low against the dollar on Wednesday, more than a week after the re-election of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The currency, which was propped up by the central bank before the presidential election, fell 5% to 22.77 lira per dollar at around 06:45 GMT. Erdogan was sworn in on Saturday after winning a historic election one-off on May 28 and named a new cabinet, appointing market-friendly politician Mehmet Şimşek as finance minister. Central banks worldwide have been raising notes in efforts to combat inflation, but Erdogan has long advocated low interest rates in a bid to stimulate growth. He once called high rates the mother and father of all evil, promoted by a foreign interest lobby. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Mwafo.
Now, away from Nigeria, 21 persons, most of them members of the security forces, have been killed in Burkina Faso in attacks by suspected militants on Wednesday. According to reports, the incident occurred during an operation to secure the Sawenga area in central eastern Burkina Faso, in which more than 50 militants were neutralized in an airborne counterattack. Reports say many locals had already fled into Ivory Coast because of incursions of insurgents. Now, statistics by UN's refugee agency shows that Ivory Coast currently hosts around 18,000 Burkinabe refugees, more than double the number in 2022. Burkina Faso is struggling with an insurgency that swept in from neighboring Mali in 2015. Now, finally, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
Ahead of under-16 Afro-Basketball qualifiers scheduled to hold in Ghana, Nigerian Basketball Federation NBBF has invited 42 male and female basketballers to camping exercise in Abuja. NBBF Secretary General Peter Njoku said the invited players are expected to be in camp from 6th till 16th June 2023. The invited players will be tutored by experienced youth basketball development coaches led by Coach Fubara Humphrey and assistant coach Zaka Andona, respectively, for the male team, while Shotimini Samson and Taya Deniyi are the coaches for the female team. And still in basketball, ahead of 2023 Women Afro-Basket Championship, Nigerian Basketball Federation NBBF has insisted that only the best players, irrespective of their location, will represent Nigeria. Nigerian Basketball Federation Vice President Babs Ogwande said the federation is working hard on putting together a team that will represent Nigeria well in Rwanda, with the aim of featuring the best players that are available regardless of where they are, putting into consideration the ongoing Nigeria Women's League. The 26th edition of the 12th Nation competition takes place at BK Arena, Kigali, Rwanda from 28 July to 6 August 2023. The Tigress of Nigeria qualify automatically as the defending champions after winning the last edition in Yaoundé, Cameroon. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
Thank you, Adeni. And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.